Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
School choice, rural hospitals, voter access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Okie dokie, folks. Welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing, and we are glad you're joining us today. Me and Java and all the folks here at MPB. It's been a good week gardening wise. Got a little rain, some of us did. Got some warm weather after a little cool spell, and things are starting to grow. Actually, a lot of people are starting to harvest stuff. And we're going to talk about all that, but let me mention that this is a live call-in program. So if you got something on your gardening mind, I challenge you. Give us a call. Let's talk about it. I won't be mean. I won't be nasty. I might be a little abrupt sometimes. But the bottom line is there's a lot of stuff going on in the garden, a lot of different styles, a lot of different kinds of gardening, lawns, trees, shrubs, flowers, potted plants, vegetables, herbs, bugs, blights, all that kind of stuff. If it's going on in your yard or your garden or anything that's growing, and you want to talk about it, I promise I won't try to sell you anything. I'm a horticulturist. I'm retired. I'm not beholden to anybody. But I was raised in a garden center. I was raised by gardeners. I am a okay gardener myself. Not a great gardener because I don't have attention to detail and I don't have patience and I don't have that nurturing thing. But I can plant some stuff. And if it's got problems, folks, I've had it myself. So give us a call. It's toll-free, 1-877-MPB-RING. And John, before we jump the calls, how are you this morning, sir?
Oh, man, I'm doing fine. I was going to ask a question because you had your buddy Rick Griffin in here last Friday.
Yeah.
Between you and Rick, who's the better gardener?
Well, actually, Rick is. Rick's out there gardening all the time. But we both weed. We both plant stuff in containers. We plant seasonal summer stuff in the spring. We plant winter stuff in the fall. But I would say we're probably on par. He's landscape architects who gardens. I'm a gardener who does a little design work, but we work together. And our gardens, by the way, Java, you could put them in a bag and shake them up and pour them out in the ditch, and you cannot tell them apart, except his is done more nicely.
But see, that's what I'm saying. That's what makes you special, Felder, because everybody wouldn't have said that. Somebody would have been like, of course, I'm the better gardener, No.
Except you can't talk through your hat when people who are listening have been in your yard.
There you go.
As a matter of fact, I had a real good real nice visit this past week, and I want to talk about it a little bit later, but we're here to take calls from folks, and we're going to start off right off the bat, sliding up to South Haven. Good morning, Lou. How are you?
Good morning, Phil. This is Lou Burrows. I'm wondering about your opinion of spectacle herbicide. I know it's very expensive, and I would like to use it myself because I do my own. I'm going to start doing my own yard because the guy I'm using now.
What was the name of the herbicide?
Spectacle, Spectile. It's a pre-emergent.
Okay, I see it. Spectacle herbicide. I don't know about that name because the problem is when you have brand names, it's just like ketchup. There's all different kinds of ketchup under different brand names. So I just have to check it up. It is a pre-emergent herbicide I can see. So it's basically used to keep weed seeds from sprouting, or kills weed seeds as they sprout. But I don't have any. I can't tell what's in it right now. Just real. It's used for lawns. I know that. But until I look at one of the labels, which I can look up here online, I really can't say much about it. Have you used it before?
I haven't used it before. I was trying to look up the other name. I know that's the common name is spectacle to pull that up. So I know you would be familiar with it, but it's quite expensive, like $400 for 18 ounces.
Here we go.
But you only use a minute amount.
Yeah, well, see, that's the problem. If you're so you thinking about doing it commercially?
No, for my home.
Okay.
And the problem with it is that it's basically for commercial use. So you have to also buy the measuring device because you use only such a small amount for your home. It's like 1 ounce per acre or something like that.
Yeah. I'm looking at. I can't find out what the active ingredient is, but I bet you we can find a similar herbicide that's got the same active ingredient that's packaged for homeowners. If not, there are some herbicides and insecticides out there that are strictly for commercial. You have to be a licensed to buy and use it, but I really can't tell. It's a fairly new one. I just don't know what the active ingredient is. So I tell you what,
I know it's made by Bayer. I'm trying to pull it up as you
I'm looking right at it here, but basically it doesn't tell me whether you can buy it in a homeowner package or not. If you can't buy it in a homeowner package, I wouldn't recommend it. So let's find out what's in it. What does it do? It's a pre-emerge herbicide, which basically says that it keeps weed seeds from sprouting. It's used in paths and drives and that kind of stuff, but I just don't know anything about it. Don't know. I will find out, though.
I did find and there's a flam. Yeah, okay. Well, I appreciate it because from what I've read about it, you can't beat it. It works for like 7 months. So if you put it out in September, October, you don't have to worry about the flam coming in. So
what I can tell you, it's a pre-emerge. I can tell that, and it's got. I found some other brand names that are all commercial, which means you put it down. It doesn't kill existing weeds or perennial weeds. It only kills seeds when they first sprout. So unless and that's not everybody's problem. It won't kill Bermuda grass or nut grass or anything that comes up from roots or stems like that. It's strictly a pre-emerge, and I guarantee you we can find an easier pre-emerge herbicide, whether it's that brand or not. There are some pretty good ones out there. Besides this particular one, this looks like a bigger deal than what I would get into.
Oh really? Oh okay.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, I was raised in agricultural land up in the Delta, and I'm trained in home horticulture and commercial horticulture, and they use sometimes the same ingredient, packaged a little bit differently. Sometimes they have some that are just too strong for homeowners to use. You have to have a license to get it. I can't tell about this one. But I know that there are some pre-emerges herbicides that work for flower beds, for lawns, around trees and shrubs that are safe, that are packaged for homeowners. I just don't know about this one.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
All righty, appreciate it. Ooh, Java, right off the bat, boom.
Now, I was going to ask that question. How often do you think homeowners or, kind of smaller gardeners get in over their head when it comes to the pesticides and, and the herbicides and stuff like that? They just need to sometimes, I don't know, get on their hands and knees and pull the weeds.
Well, that's what I do. Here we go. It forms an invisible barrier that stops weeds before they germinate. Requires activation through rainfall, compatibility, can mix with other stuff. It can cause damage to other plants. Anyway, it's one of those brands where, people say, we got to use this, got to do this. It's like green beans, Bush's green beans or some other green beans.
Green Giant.
Yeah. But so if you're not familiar with something, don't get it. Read the label. And I guarantee you, when it comes to home gardening, a lot of folks don't even use pre-emerged herbicide because you put them down, they kill a few weeds that come up from seed, but they don't get the big weeds.
Yeah.
They don't get the ones that come out, the nut grass, the Bermuda grass, and the dandelions and all that stuff. So I would say always read the label, see what it says it will do, and any precautions, and then decide, is this worth it? I give you an example. I saw an advertisement the other night on late night TV for a weed killer. I mean, it was a great advertisement. It said everything about, I'm not going to name the name of it, but while it was doing the ad, I looked it up and found out that, it will kill weeds, but you cannot apply it under trees or shrubs.
Well, that's
yeah. So, and it says this is great, and it looks like you can just use it on everything. But when I went online and looked it up, you cannot use it around trees or shrubs because it can damage them through the roots. They don't tell you that on the advertisements. So anyway, always read labeled directions before you buy something. What is it supposed to do? What are the precautions? But I get on my hands and knees and I pull. So
sometimes that's what you got to do.
Yeah, it's like shaving. You watch these old cowboy movies. They're always getting shaves. Who pays somebody to shave? Well, you might, Job. I don't know. I'm not gonna. Do you ever have everybody shave you?
Yeah, when we go to the barbershop, yeah,
they shave you.
Yeah, they shave me up, man. They give me nice.
Okay, ask me how long it's been since I've been in a barbershop.
Now, that is a good question. How long has it been since you've been in the barbershop?
Well, I'll give you, I don't remember the date, but I remember I was about to give a talk in Forest, Mississippi, okay? And I had a little time, so I went to the barbershop, and I remember that I got my money's worth, but it's only cost $2.75.
I think you went to the barbershop a while ago.
He gave me one that so far has lasted at least 20 or 25 years.
It must be. That's the best barber in the world.
I don't know, man. Anyway, let's go down to Gulfport. From as far north as you can get in Mississippi.
Not yet.
Okay. Hold back.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take this first break, and then we're gonna come back and talk to John in Gulfport.
Yeah, I got thrown a little bit on the spectacle thing. I got thrown a little bit on that. It's not that I'm not familiar with herbicides, but when somebody comes up with a brand of something I'm not familiar with, I don't want to make a comment until I satisfy myself.
But you get one of those a show, so we got it out the way early.
Yeah, there you go. Well, somebody call up with something cheerful, please. Toll free 1-877-MPB-ME, 1-877-MPB-RING. And then I'm going to take a slug of this coffee and I'm going to calm down. Me and Java, a live stream producer, we're going to be right back with more of the Gestalt Gardener. Won't you join us? It's a free call. And if I don't know something, obviously, I'll say it. Stick with us, folks. We'll be right back.
At the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience in Meridian, we believe in the power of the arts, storytelling, and education, just like Mississippi Public Broadcasting. MPB connects communities across the state with quality programs that inform, inspire, and engage. Their audience is loyal and appreciative of businesses that support public broadcasting, which makes underwriting on MPB a smart investment. Join us in supporting MPB. Learn more at mpbfoundation.org.
Hatred destroys the one who hates. The others that you hated go on about their business, care of us.
So the legacy of Medgar Evers is an understanding of our own humanity and of our own responsibility of seeing that in other people.
He is written out of history. He's just not included as Malcolm and Martin. To me, it's the 3 M's, and Medgar is right up there at the lead.
Everlasting, Life and Legacy of Medgar Evers. Watch now on MPB Passport. Visit mpbonline.org for more.
School choice, rural hospitals, voter access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts. MPB, your stories, our mission.
All righty, folks, welcome back. And Job, before we go to this call, I did a little quick research. This particular product he was talking about, non-selective control, which means kills everything, of emerged and pre-emerged grasses and broadleaf weeds in non-crop areas, including paths, parking lots, curbs, sidewalks, driveways, gravel areas, loading ramps, storage yards, vacant lots, fence rows, hardscapes, municipal. In other words, don't use it around other plants.
That's what I was just about to say. If you don't want anything, it's your thing.
Yeah, at $147 a gallon.
No.
Anyway, living and learning. I don't mind not knowing something because I can look it up. But I know in my training and decades of working with this, I know how to go to sites that will tell me the truth. I don't go to, what does Wikipedia say? Anyway, John's been hanging on from Gulfport for a long time. John, good morning. How are you, sir?
Well, thanks for calling back. I am a a chemist who has resided down here. I have a couple of questions, one of which, the main one is, how do you get rid of this green vine that's loaded with thorns down here?
Oh, boy.
I've tried glyphosate. I've tried a number of products. You might have an idea of how to prevent it or kill it at the roots, or what do you do with it?
Well, even without knowing what it is, I've got a pretty good answer, but it'd be nice to know, are we talking about the one that they call Smilax or Greenbrier? It's got
Smilax, that's it.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Even for folks who don't mind using herbicides, because it comes from like a woody tuber. I mean, it doesn't just die down the root. It's got a tuber that you can pull it all you want. It keeps sprouting back out. And there's a lot of herbicides, even systemic herbicides, that won't go down and kill a huge tuber. It just won't do it. So what I've done in my garden, it's taken me a while, but I finally got rid of most of it, is I cut it down close as I can. And if you do this over and over and over and over, it gets easier every time by a factor of about 50%. So it does get easier if you just stay on top of it. But if you want to use a herbicide, probably the safest and the most effective is going to be glyphosate. And, but it works best on young.
Doesn't work.
Oh, it does.
Glyphosate does not work. It does not work. I've tried it a number of times. No, it does not work.
Okay, here's the trick, because it has worked for me. You cut it down and let the new growth come out, and apply it to new growth, not old woody plants. And it's going to take repeat applications, because there's nothing that'll kill that tuber in one shot. So, young stuff, cut it down, let the new stuff get up, kind of a mature, kind of nice looking leaves, and apply it to that. It goes down quicker. It's more effective that way. But there is nothing else that's going to work that's safe for your other plants. There are some this one we just talked about, Spectable. It'll take care of it, but it'll take everything else too. So this is a vine that requires persistence, whether it's pulling or using glyphosate on the new growth.
Okay, thank you very much. But I have one other thing: pomegranate. I'm trying to get a pomegranate going down here. Have you had experience with growing any pomegranates down in the south part?
I haven't had any experience, but there are some pomegranates that were some years ago. The University of Georgia was redoing an old research station. They found a bunch of pomegranates had been introduced from Russia, of all places, years and years and years ago, and some were still producing really, really well, big, sweet, good quality, and they started propagating them. I can't remember their names, but there are some varieties, and that's the key. Not just pomegranates, but what variety. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I do have that. I've got that on my laptop at home. But anyway, if you'll go online and maybe go to University of Georgia and Extension and say what varieties that they recommend, because they're on top of it.
Okay, thanks very much. Okay, take care.
Okay, John, appreciate it. Okay, and he was not happy about what I said about the other stuff, but I got to stick with what I know.
It was kind of what was it? Smilax.
Smilax. It's called Greenbrier, or some people call it the devil's spawn. But it's a native vine. It's got a big old woody tuber. You can pull it and pull it and pull it and keep coming back, and it's hard to pull. But I have it myself. I understand, and if there's something easy to do, I'd do it myself. Hey, Java, I want to throw something out here. Last week, right after the program, y'all threw a little party.
Yeah, we threw a little. Yeah, we had a little shindig.
Well, I want to show a picture of it. Picture number one. If we could get who's the live stream producer? John C's back there.
Yeah, we got John C. We got Abram. I think Marissa's on the phone.
Okay. Well, picture number one, if they can put that up there, this is the MPB staff doing what I call a celebration for this program hitting 500,000 downloads.
Oh, yeah. No, we had some, thanks to the foundation, Angela's always going to find an excuse for a party.
Well, I don't know. Some of those folks aren't radio folks. Did just everybody barge our party?
Yeah, it's an MP. Felder, you are ours in the radio department, but you are an MPB fixture. You know what I mean? So everybody, we got some people from TV in there. We got some people from the front office. You know, it's a party when admin people come down.
Well, let's show picture number 2, because I did something maybe a little naughty. I don't know if it's naughty or not, but after the party was over, there were some leftover cupcakes. And they were so green, they had bright greens and dark greens and speckles and all these cupcakes. And I got a whole box of them, took them up to the pub. So we celebrated MPB's cupcakes up at the pub.
Okay, because, I'm about to say that background, that does not look MPB.
No. That's my local pub. And we had some pretty interesting stuff with the pub talk. But back to gardening a little bit. My peas are coming in pretty well, my English peas. My granddaughter's peas are coming in, and Susan and I finally saw a little bitty grass seedlings. We've been out there watering. We put out some grass seed for my daughter-in-law, and we've been going there wetting it down, not watering it, just wetting those little seeds down so that they'll come up more quickly. And we finally saw some seeds on it yesterday. But what I want to do is I want to show a picture. If we could put up picture number 7.
Mm-hmm.
This is she'd kill me if she knew I was showing this picture, but that's Susan with her an English woman with a thumb over the end of a hose squirting water.
What did you say? Just wetting it.
We're just wetting it down. Seeds. There's nothing in the water, but we want to keep the seeds from drying out.
Okay.
If we can show picture number 8 now. While she was doing that, I noticed something, and I picked up the hose. And if you hold it just right with the sun catching in the background, you can make a rainbow with your hand.
A rainbow.
So I mean, you might want to show your kids that.
No, because then they'll be out there all the time making rainbows.
Find something that's got to be watered, man. Find something that's got to be watered.
Well, it was funny. Crystal, when we left this morning taking the kids to school, she was in the backyard watering, trying to make sure everything got a nice,
Well, maybe she knows. Maybe she already knows about the rainbow and just ain't into it.
And we've seen a couple. Well, I think the squirrels or the birds got the few little strawberries that were poking out.
Yeah.
But our tomato plants are looking really nice.
Well, I'm going to show, before we go to the calls, I want to show one last picture number 6. And by the way, if you're not on live stream, you don't know what we're talking about, but you can go to mpbonline.org or go to YouTube and type in the Gestalt Gardener, and you can see what we're talking about, and as well as call in, and you can they have a way to contact us, all that. But Java, last week I went out and I turned my compost, which I rarely do. All it is a pile of leaves and vegetable scraps and weeds and stuff like that. Anything that'll decompose, I pile it up in a little small area. But last week I pulled it onto the driveway and I sort of mixed it up and pushed it back in a pile, and then I wet it down really good because the bacteria, the fungi, the worms that do the composting, they need air, but they also need a little moisture. And, of course, right after I did this, it started raining. But I put a thermometer in there. I'll show it next week. But within overnight, it went up to over 90 degrees.
What, in the compost?
In the compost.
Wow.
I've gotten up to 140 degrees before. But the fact is, what you're trying to do is, for compost, you're trying to help bacteria, beneficial bacteria and fungi and worms break stuff down into its basic mix, sort of like manure. Manure is grass that's being composted through a cow.
Yeah.
Well, we're trying to throw our leaves through worms and bacteria and stuff, and a little bit of moisture. If it's really, really dry, if you'll just stir stuff up to mix it up and wet it down really good, it'll compost a lot faster. If you're in a race. Now I see those banana peels in there. Oh yeah.
Do you what don't you put in your compost?
I don't put broken glass. There are Mardi Gras bees in there. There's a little green army man in there. There's I put things there. They're sort of like old friends. This fall that stuff will be broken down into what looks like what you buy in a bag. And as I sift it to get the lumps and the sticks and stuff out, I'm going to find that Mardi Gras bead and a little green army man.
Okay.
But there's nothing else I don't put in it. I don't put broken glass. But if it'll decompose, I'm going to put it in there. And just as an aside, somebody says you can't put meat in a compost pile. Excuse me, but I put a raccoon in mine one year, and it'll compost.
What was that raccoon's name?
I don't remember. Oh, Rocky.
But I remember you had a little friend for a little while.
That was Pogo the possum.
Oh, Pogo the possum. That's right.
Hey, listen, we need to.
Yeah,
listen,
we need to prove.
Here's what we're here. We're here to talk to Rudy.
Get it back on the street.
Rudy's calling from Gulfport. Rudy, what's going on, man?
Yes, sir. I'm trying to grow my garden, and every year I mess it up. What can I plant next to each other, and what can I not plant next to each other?
Well, if you go online, you can find all sorts of stuff about companion plants you're supposed to plant with each other and plants that don't like to be beside each other. And I'm going to say it's almost entirely hooey. It's nothing to it. I wouldn't plant tall plants that will shade little plants together, and I wouldn't plant things that need a lot of water or fertilizer like tomatoes or corn by something like peas or beans that don't need much fertilizer. But other than that, if you just got an average variety garden, the only thing I consider is, will something take over what's next to it or shade it out? But there's no hard, fast research to show that if you plant onions by your beans, it's going to screw something up. It just doesn't happen. It does in such a tiny little minute matter, it doesn't matter. So shade, size, how it spreads. If you're going to plant cucumbers, they need something to climb on. Don't put them next to your tomatoes or they're going to climb on your tomatoes. But there's this companion or don't plant these together. As far as I can tell, and I'm working with a lot of horticulture researchers, there's really not much to it.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate that, so thank you.
Okay. Hey, Rudy, let me ask you this. What are you planting? What do you want to plant?
Well, every year I plant everything from zucchini to tomatoes to watermelon. And last year I planted, then that freeze came in and killed everything.
Oh, boy.
And this year I had everything. I got a little incubator thing that I set all my seeds in on. I did everything again, and everything died again, so I'm starting all over again.
Well, there's going to be other factors involved, but, again, it's a physical thing. Watermelons need room to run. Tomatoes need to grow up. Squash will cover up anything that's within a foot of it. So other than that, the one thing that I would recommend is try not to plant the same vegetables in the same row every year. If you plant tomatoes in the same spot, diseases will build up. So put your tomatoes at one end one year, other end the next year. Move stuff around, but if you've worked up your dirt, if you dig it, add a little compost to it, a little organic matter to sort of fluff it up a little bit, not much, just a little bit, then most plants with a little bit of fertilizer and occasional soaking, they'll do okay planting next to each other.
Oh, okay, because I got about a 50-foot by 30-foot garden that I work every year. I'm been working there, so I'm hoping for a good crop next year.
Okay, well you've got enough room there to where you can actually break that up, Rudy, into 2 or 3 smaller individual gardens. Instead of one big rectangle area, have 2 or 3 or even 4 smaller gardens, and treat each one as a separate garden. That way, you can plant stuff in one year and plant that same stuff in another one the next year. And if something gets harvested or died, you don't have to replant the whole garden. Just replant the area that's having trouble. In other words, farmers plant once a year. Gardeners plant something all the time. So if you'll think about breaking it up into smaller gardens and you can name them if you want to, and plant them as needed and move stuff around, it's a whole lot easier.
And how about sunlight? Will sunlight affect too much on the different plants?
No. There's some of our culinary herbs don't really like a lot of sunshine, but vegetables, they'll take all day sun. You might want to start saving up some bags of leaves in the fall, so you can just, after you plant stuff, throw leaves on top of the ground. That'll shade the ground and keep it cooler and moisture, and it won't crust as much. A little bit of mulch on top of the ground like leaves, that really, really helps everything. And then next time you're ready to dig.
Every year I rake my yard up and all that, and I put all the leaves into the garden, and I plow it into come October, I'll plow it into the ground. That way, for the next year, it grows in there.
I give you a hint, and I do the same thing. But instead of plowing it all in, when you plant your garden, put it on top of the ground as a mulch, where it really helps cool the soil and all that. And then next time you plant, plow it in.
Okay, that'll work.
All right, Rudy. Good luck on it, man.
Well, thank you, sir. You have a nice day, sir.
You bet. Okay, and then let's slide over to Mobile and see what Babs is up to. You got a comment for Java, I see.
Oh, yes. I heard the blend for the first time this week.
Oh, wow, Babs, thanks.
That's good stuff.
I appreciate that. Keep tuning in.
Yes, sir. And you've been doing that since January?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I guess I just wasn't on the right channel or didn't have the radio.
You never know what Java's going to play next on the blend.
Yeah, it's always an adventure. But thanks for listening, Babs.
That's what I like about it. Yeah, I like that.
Well, we appreciate that.
Now, what's the time frame?
Oh, it's
What time is the blend on?
Monday through Thursdays from 9 till 11.
Okay. But then again, we love our Gestalt Gardener.
Thank you so much. Do. Appreciate it, Babs. Thank you.
Now tell me, can I ask you a red ant question?
Sure.
Okay. After all that rain in Mobile, the next day there was just this long line of red clay looking stuff, and I knew that meant red ant.
Yeah.
And so I waited a day and a half or so to go out there and put some poison on it. I can't tell you what it was, but that red clay was gone. I guess they hunkered down and started working on ant beds.
The way red ants, fire ants, the way they do stuff is they don't they don't like to be waterlogged, and they like to be warm. So they'll dig their mounds partly for drainage, but also partly to raise it up where it catches sunshine. And after rain, they're going to build up just good away from the wet soil. And in cold weather, they'll make mounds just because it warms up better. If you'll just water them down, that irritates them. They'll move and they may start another mound. But just watering them down will help temporarily. But if you use an insecticide, it kills them. It kills them, and they're gone.
That's fine with me. Yeah, we want them gone, right?
Well, all God's creatures and all that. But no, I don't want to. I'm scratching between my knuckles just thinking about them right now.
Yeah, and your toes. Yeah.
Yeah. We appreciate your call, Babs. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks.
And Java, let me give a shout out to somebody else. This past week, recently got married. Got to think about finances. How do we do this? How do we do that? And what's the best investment? That kind of thing.
You got to structure everything.
Yeah, and you know what I did? I made an appointment and went to talk to Ryder Taft.
Money Talks every Tuesday.
He's been doing that for what, 15 years or so?
I don't know if he's been doing it for 15 years.
Well, right.
But he's been the man for quite a while.
Well, I tell you, Ryder, I tell you how, he looks young, and he was one of my Cub Scouts, one of my Boy Scouts.
Really?
Back, he and my son are the same age. But it was so good to be able to call somebody and say, will you talk straight to me? And not just blow, I just want to let you know that we got a real winner on Money Talks.
Oh yeah, no, Ryder. You say Ryder is a real winner. What was it? This Tuesday, I was listening to the show, and all I did, I just came in and shook his hand, and I said, "You're doing a good job, man."
He called, and he's got a good sense of humor too. So anyway, I really appreciated that. It's so MPB helped me out on that. Now, I think we got some tunes to play, but let me show two pictures real quick, John, if I can.
Go ahead.
Picture number 3. If they'll put picture number 3 up, folks. If you're not on the live stream, you can't see this. And by the way, you can watch the live stream 24/7. You can look at it a month and a half from now if you want to. But this is a picture of my truck last week when I gave a couple of talks at the Magnolia Flower Festival. And I backed it up. You can see it rain, but I got my flowers and stuff, a little miniature bottle tree. But it was so good to run into a bunch of folks. And let's put picture number 4. Ran into an old friend of mine. I've known this lady for probably 35 years. But Nellie Neal, she's known as the Garden Mama. Nellie and I go way, way back. When she first moved here, she was the first ever group of master gardeners in the state. And when I left the commercial station, coming over MPB, she took my old program. But it's really good to run into old friends who like to talk about gardening.
Well, there ain't nothing wrong. And the Magnolia, where was that at?
It was at the Renaissance, sort of upscale mall type thing.
No, we were doing soccer tournament that weekend, and we had to ride past the Renaissance, and it was jam packed from the front to the back. Yeah, you almost had a good turnout out there.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. But anyway, just I don't know of any festivals or any garden stuff that's coming up. So I just want to say I appreciate every time I run into some old friends. Do we need to take a break, or can we take this call, or what?
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk with Jamie. We don't want to have him waiting through the cheesy tune break.
Jamie calling from Wiggins. What's up, Jamie?
Hey, I just wanted to call and not really defend Smilax, but I did want to say a little bit of kind words about it.
You know you can eat it. You're going to say that, aren't you?
That's right. It's delicious.
It's I don't know if it's related to asparagus, but the tender new shoots, you could eat them raw. They taste just like asparagus to me.
They are really good, and I kind of let mine grow up, and I'll pluck them off, eat them, and then I'll cut them, and then they come up next year. They're delicious.
Okay, so MPB's got all these Felder shirts. Let's get dirty and stuff like that. We in Mohai, we got a new one. If you can't beat them, eat them.
That's great.
Appreciate it, Jamie. Thank you so much.
Nice talking to you. Bye-bye.
If you can't beat them, eat them.
I like that. Let's get on top of that.
All righty, folks. I'm horticulturalist Felder Rushing, and we're going to be talking about gardening for the next hour and 15 minutes. I came up with a new thing. What was it I called it? I called it the, where is it? Here we go.
Gallimaufry?
No, the binge gardening.
Oh, binge gardening.
Binge gardening. Had some ladies come visit my yard the other day, and a funny little observation after that. But we're going to take a quick break, and got a little short, cheesy tune about homegrown tomatoes by the D-Lo Trio from down south of Jackson. And me and Java and all the folks here at MPB, we appreciate you joining us. We're going to come back with some more of your phone calls. We've already got some coming in, and some cheesy pictures I want to show you. Stick with us, folks. We'll be right back.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
Together through the years, together in the future. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Mississippi is a place of deep roots where every story matters and every voice can be heard. At MPB, we stand with our local communities, bringing you the voices of those who shape our state through local programming that reflects our culture across small towns to big cities, from the Delta to the coast. We tell the stories that define us, from the music that carries our voices to the leaders who inspire change. MPB brings you the heart of Mississippi, celebrating Mississippi one story at a time. MPB, your stories, our mission.
The Measuring Show.
Since 1970, MPB has been enriching the lives of Mississippians.
Everything we do gives us the chance to grow and learn.
With your support, we are always there whenever and wherever you need us. Together through the years, together in the future. Please consider making a donation at mpbfoundation.org. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing. I got some stuff to yak about, but I want to yak with what you want to yak about, and we're going to go to Newton and talk to Elvia. Good morning, Elvia. Or is it Elvia?
This message has been transcribed. One moment. Hello?
Hello. You're on the air.
Oh, okay. How you doing, Felder?
Fine. What's up?
Yeah, I have a problem with water hyacinth.
Oh, boy.
And
Wait, y'all gotta bring that back. What?
Okay.
Are we talking about?
There's this plant that grows on water, on top of water. It floats. It's like a little cluster of leaves, and they got a hollow bulb connecting them all, and it just floats and it spreads. It's got the most beautiful flower. It looks like a hyacinth, but it can choke a lake real, real quick.
Okay, because I heard water in there. All right.
Water hyacinth. Yeah.
All right, proceed.
So I was doing some research. I found that Dioquat has some.
Dioquat. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it worked pretty good on it, I heard.
It does, and it's safe for fish and all that. It's commonly used by pond management people. It's pretty good. Now here's the problem. It may not do it in one application. And here's the deal. If you got a lot of water hyacinth out there, like any kind of weed, if you kill a lot of it at once, it all sinks to the bottom, and it can take the oxygen out of the water, and that can cause problems to fish. So if you got a whole bunch of it, you might want to do some at a time.
Okay, doing my research, I also saw that some of it, they say it could be, you can put it, pour it in around the pond in different areas, and it would go through the roots.
I don't know that. I think Dioquat is meant to be mixed with water and sprayed over plants. I don't think you can just put it on the side of the thing and it washes in there. I don't know. You know, I'm familiar with Dioquat. I'm familiar with water hyacinth, but I don't know the combination, the detail. Got to follow the directions on that. Got to follow.
Right.
But it's one. You know, there's some other herbicides, but Dioquat is used by people who grow fish for a living. So, you know, they're okay with it.
Well, this is a sewer lagoon that the water hyacinth is probably more than 50% covered. You know, we have an ongoing problem with it.
Yeah, well,
and, you know, it grows real quick. You know.
Oh, I know. It's grown often as an ornamental plant. You put one of them in a little water garden at home, and you go back in for a cup of coffee, come back out, and it's taking over the whole thing. It spreads real quick. Yeah. It's a pretty plant. So, it's one of the noxious weeds on the Mississippi noxious. It's not from here, and it's on the noxious weeds do not sell or plant this list because it's pretty bad.
So other than Dioquat, is there anything else you could recommend?
Oh yeah, there's several other herbicides, but I don't want to get too much into it because we're out of my league when it comes to aquatic stuff. So I have to just stick with, you know, if you'll go to the MSU Cares Mississippi State website and just type in water hyacinth control, it'll say what MSU recommends, how they work, and all that kind of stuff.
That's MSU.
Well, just go to Mississippi State University, and it'll have a link for their information page. I don't know what it's called now, but call your county extension office. You know, I was in Newton last week, and I don't remember where the county agents are, but call them and let's say, here's what we use, here's how it works best. You know, talk to somebody who worked with it all the time. I don't.
Okay, Felder, I appreciate it.
Okay, you're on the right track, but again, keep in mind, it's a sewage lagoon, so you don't have to worry about, you know, it all sinking and taking oxygen out of the water. But there are there are at least 2 or 3 that I know of. I just don't want to recommend them because I don't know the details. When it comes to that kind of stuff, I get real uncomfortable for legal reasons.
Yeah.
All right, man.
All right, thank you.
Okay, appreciate it.
You guys have a good day.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, now, we're all about killing plants. You know, I planted tomatoes and peppers this week. I've got peas coming in. My potatoes are starting to make. I've got some castor beans set out. We're planting grass seed. There's all sorts of stuff we can plant. But Don from Van Cleve wants to know how to kill something. Don, what you got? What's up?
Okay, what I do for Vitex when it comes up close to one of my camellias that I don't want to dig up, I mix about a gallon of Roundup, put it in a plastic container and cut a little slot so I can put the stem of the Vitex in the notch I cut, and then I put the top leaves in the container and close it up with the gallon of Roundup or a half gallon, whatever container size you can get. So you can put all the leaves in and then leave it for a couple of days, and it'll kill it.
It will, but so we'll just using it according to direction and just brushing on the foliage, just wetting it on the foliage. That's all it takes. But in other words, you don't have to go to quite that much trouble. The main thing is just wet the foliage really, really good. And of course, it sounds like we're just talking about herbicides today, but I never ever recommend mixing stuff stronger than what directions call for. I never recommend that. I can't.
I mix it. I mix it to the direction.
Okay. Well, the main thing is if you just wet the foliage real good, it takes a little bit longer, but it does work. But what you're doing is fine. But just brushing on the leaves will work too.
Yeah, I found though that brushing on leaves, it just rolls off and it. I've been doing it. I've
been doing this a long time. And the main thing is just wetting the foliage. That's all it takes. But if you want to dip it in there, that's fine. That's fine.
A lot of times, most of the time, I just dig it up.
Yeah.
A big potato.
Oh yeah.
But,
all right, sir.
Sure way.
Good. Voice of experience, Java. Don, we appreciate you calling, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Don. We appreciate you calling this morning. I do want to give a shout out to our YouTube viewers.
Oh yeah.
The chat is always active, and we have some regular participants. I love shouting them out. So good morning to Margie from Harperville. Good morning to Timothy. Timothy says he has been in his garden since 7:30 this morning. Good morning to Alan checking in from Southeast Virginia. Good morning to Felicia, who says, my cucumbers are loaded with blooms but seem to be mainly male. Is that a problem?
It is a problem. Cucumbers, squash, melons have got separate male and female flowers on the same plant. Only the females will make a believe it or not, a melon is a berry. Yeah, only the females will make the fruit if they get pollen from a male. Now, if you got all male, ain't no females going to make any squash. If you got all females, no males, it ain't going to happen. So a lot of times, a little bit too much fertilizer or rain can cause them to temporarily have more males than normal, but usually the plants will just settle down after a while. A lot of times, early on, it's more males than females, but they should settle down.
And then lastly, good morning to Pamela, who is checking in, as always, from Harleston.
All righty, Pamela. We appreciate y'all tuning in. And, folks, if you're not on the live stream, you can go to mpbonline.org, and it can take you to it, or you can go to YouTube and type in Gestalt Gardener anytime you want. So, as a matter of fact, just one of the things let me see. There's something I wanted to show. Oh, my figs are starting to plump up. I got figs. I cut my figs back pretty hard, as I usually do in the wintertime, because I like to keep compact bushes that have more stems, more twigs, more figs than I can actually reach. But we had a late frost that burned it all back. But anyway, they put back out and they're looking quite nice. And also I've seen more fairy rings this year. This past week, big half circles or curves of white mushrooms across the lawn. Doesn't really hurt anything. Nothing you can do about it. If you don't like them, just kick them over. And I want to talk when we come back a little bit about a special exhibit that's going on downtown in the Jackson area. But I do want to mention this, Java. Let me see if I can get this up here. This past week, a really good friend of mine, Faith Estes. She's from up in Winston County. Faith is she's one of the earliest master gardeners in the state. She's a wonderful gardener, and she organized a group of ladies who do plant swaps, right? Well, they talked me into coming down to my garden. I never had tours of my garden because it's too creepy to some people.
Wait, they came to your garden?
Yeah. It's a whole bunch of ladies.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, they came down for a little looky, and we had a really good time laughing about some of the little tweaks. One of them noticed that my water garden is accessorized with little bobbing cylinders that turned out to be antique brass toilet floats. Anyway, here's an aside. A carload from a nearby town had invited them to come along. They're not part of that group. And it turned out to be some po-faced women. Have you ever heard of po-faced?
I can't say that I have.
Okay. They're apparently not maverick gardeners. Straight faces, unable to appreciate less than subtleties in our cottage garden. Anyway, Susan called them po-faced. I had to look it up. Turns out po-faced is an informal, peculiarly British term referring to people with excessively serious or disapproving expressions. humorless, stuffy, and sanctimonious.
That's a nice little term. I'm going to have to use that one. Thank you, Susan.
Yeah, but it brings me to my pub talk.
Okay.
We were talking about this the other day. One of my regular buddies, a guy who calls me the Rolling Stones of cucumbers, by the way, he said the women sound like a character from the Andy Griffith Show, Aunt Bee's friend Clara, who is always up to in the air about something. Then another guy, let's call him Keith, said she looked like she pursed her lips so much that they were permanently wrinkled around the edge. Anyway, had a handful of po-folk ladies. They had the po-folk faces. No, not po-folk, po-faced.
Now that you have explained it, I know we've all encountered those individuals.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, po-faced. That's a good one for me. We got some good stuff to talk about. I got some things I want to share with you about a special exhibit that's down at the Museum of Art, Mississippi Museum of Art downtown.
You want to save it for the next hour?
I'll save it the next hour, and would like to remind folks that it's a call-in program. I did bring, it probably too late to zoom in. I brought, as far as I know, the world's smallest official blue bottle that they grew, that actually sold. So this is a personal-sized Vicks Vapor Rub bottle.
Whoa!
It's maybe an inch tall. It's got a little. It's cobalt blue. It's got the little, got a little metal screw-on thing. But they had personal-sized Vicks Vapor Rub that came in tiny little blue bottle glasses.
No, that's pretty neat. I'm not gonna lie. A little personal action.
It's my pocket bottle.
Bottle.
In case I need a bottle tree. If I need to. In case I need some help or something. Anyway, I carry around a little Vicks Vapor Rub blue bottle, and it also, if you take the lid off and wave it around, it'll suck all the haints out of the air.
Oh, yeah, no, you need that. You need that. Now, Felder, we did get a quick email come through, and I think you can tackle it real fast. How I was listening the other morning while driving and couldn't write down what you suggested to replace Roundup.
A lot of herbicides today. I did say replace. Roundup has changed its formulation, but the ingredient that was safe and good was called glyphosate. That's the active ingredient. It's no longer in Roundup. I no longer recommend Roundup, but there's several other brands that have glyphosate as their active ingredient. It's the only herbicide I feel safe about. It's effective and not going to hurt me or my garden or the environment or my health or anything like that, and it'll kill the weeds. Anyway, this is Weed Control Central. This whole hour has been about killing weeds.
It really has. It's kind of funny that way.
It's not, I wouldn't call it funny. Let's get a little bit more upbeat. What can we talk about the next hour that's going to be about doing stuff?
Well, I've seen some of the pictures for next hour, so I think it's upbeat already built in.
All righty. Well, folks, stick with me and Java and John C. and who else is back there?
We got Abram, Marissa.
And Marissa. We're going to be back with hour 2 of the Gestalt Gardener right after this. Stick with us, folks. We'll be right back.
The Measuring Show.
Since 1970, MPB has been enriching the lives of Mississippians.
Everything we do gives us the chance to grow and learn.
With your support, we are always there whenever and wherever you need us. Together through the years, together in the future. Please consider making a donation at mpbfoundation.org. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Okie folks, welcome back to Horticulturalist Felder Rushing. Job, I brought something. Let me see if I can move this over where they can see this. I don't know if they can squeeze in on this or not.
You know, I was not really. I looked at it and I saw it, but I wasn't paying attention. Now that I've paid attention, I want you to go ahead and kind of explain it a little bit.
I'm going to pick it up. This is a watering can. It's an old metal watering can in an old style. I mean, we're talking old, probably 1800s. But it's been painted black with all these flowers hand-painted on them. And I got this at an antique store in my little village in England, and they call it bargeware.
Bargeware?
Yeah, because, you know, they got all these canals all over. They got them all over Europe. They got all these canals connecting everything, and they got these long, skinny boats. You know, we're talking about not much bigger, wider than a driveway, but they're long and skinny. People live on them, and they're called barges, and canal barges. And they're colorful. They got gardens on top of them and everything. But there's a whole lot of stuff that's made to be cute that fit on a little skinny boat. And and they always have gardens planted on top of them, but this is just a real cute little hand painted old beat up antique watering can called bargeware.
That's all right there, man.
Yeah, I got me one of my favorite roses. This is not a great rose for the landscape because it sprawls and it's got thorns and all, but it's called Red Cascades, and this is a rose that will not stop blooming. Little small flowers, no fragrance, but it's completely covered with these little boutonniere-type flowers from spring till a hard freeze, called red cascades. No disease at all.
Now, where will you pick something up like that at the big box store?
No. Ain't nobody can sell this except for people who specialize in old garden type roses.
Yeah, because it piqued my interest that they don't go anywhere.
No, but at the same time, it roots like ringing a bell. If you want one, I got them, man. They root real easy. Hey, let's go down to Ocean Springs and see what O'Neill is up to. What's up, O'Neill?
Fellas.
Good morning. How are you?
How's it going?
Good.
I'm doing well, thanks. And yourself?
So far, so good. Not so bad.
It's still early, I know.
Yeah, please talk about something other than killing plants.
Oh, no. I'm trying to promote blooms on my coreopsis and gaillardia.
Yeah.
Blanket flower.
Uh-huh.
They're all growing right there together. And, everything bloomed early this year.
Yeah.
And it's a nice look, and so they bloom and then they dead, they're deadheads.
Yeah.
And do I cut them off? How do I promote the growth? I figure it'll do it on its own, but is there a way to help it?
Well, the blanket flower, gaillardia, it can bloom pretty well nonstop, off and on all spring and summer and fall. It's a repeat bloomer. But the coreopsis is kind of like black-eyed Susan. It's kind of a one-shot thing. It blooms, sets seeds, dies, drops seeds everywhere. So it's mostly, there are some coreopsis that bloom a little bit later, but in general, coreopsis, the annual kind, the ones you have, they're kind of a one-and-done type thing. Bloom for a few weeks and that's it.
So that's it.
Yeah, but I tell you what, go to Garden Center and get this stuff called Cosmos. Cosmos grows the same way, but it blooms constantly all the rest of the year. See, so the thing about wildflowers, it's just like along the roadside. You see some things in the spring, some in the summer, some in the fall, some that bloom all the time. Coreopsis just ain't one of those. So, but there's another one that's called Cosmos, and it blooms pretty well nonstop. So
it's a cultivar?
No. It's a whole plant on its own. Just COSMOS, Cosmos. It looks sort of like a big. There's yellow ones, there's orange ones. It looks sort of like a big coreopsis, big flower. Now let me ask you this: Ocean Springs, it ain't that big. How big an area have you got this planted? You can't have a huge yard there.
Oh no, they're growing out by the drain on the street.
Yeah. Well, you need
it's like about 1 foot by 3 feet.
Oh yeah, so you need something that's going to bloom all the time. There's a couple.
Oh yeah.
If you go to a garden center, see if you can find this plant that's called Gaura, Gaura. Gaura is compact.
I've got some.
Okay, it comes back year after year after year. Have you got the white one or the sort of rosy red pink one or what?
I could swear I bought those pink ones and they turned white after a year or two.
Huh. Well, it might just be reverted. But, that's a good one. And, there's a handful of other stuff, lantana and things like that do well. But coreopsis is sort of a one-and-done thing. Well,
okay, so the Gaura, go ahead.
Yeah, it'll keep blooming.
Okay. Because I have some along the sidewalk in partial sun shade. They're thriving. And I have one out on the other side of the road that's struggling. I keep replanting it, but maybe I should just move those two out there by the drain.
This is a plant that's native. It's native to Oklahoma. It really does not want to be in really, really rich dirt. And a lot of plants like this also, O'Neill, when you pull them out of the pot, if you just pull them out of the pot and stick them in the ground, they're not going to do as well as the wild ones. You need to loosen up that potting soil, sort of stir it in so it's grown in real dirt.
Yeah, I try to plant them in, they have to live where they live,
Yeah.
But so I take them out of the pot.
And you're going to get the results you're going to get. That's all it is. Anyway, man, good luck on it. Hey, have you got anything out there? You got anything out there to carry your interest all the time, like a little a little bird bath, or put your bird house on a post, or a wagon wheel?
I have one of each.
Okay, so accessorize, and that'll keep your mind off stuff with the coreopsis is wilted.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that idea.
Okay.
All right.
Appreciate it, O'Neill. Thank
Bye.
you. Okay, now we got an orange and a blue.
Let's go orange.
Brother Daniel from Pascagoula. What's up, Brother Daniel?
Hey, what's going on? Peace and love, more of it. Peace and love and plants.
And stop the war. There you go. What's going on?
Oh my God! Hey, now listen. My lilies I tell you, boy, it's like Jesus. It comes back and rise up. And I got a lemon tree that I just got. It's already blooming a lime. But I need to ask you about this blueberry. I got a branch of a blueberry from one of our neighbors. And the leaves are there, but I was told, do I need to bring it a brother and sister to plant with it, or can it do good by itself?
A blueberry can do pretty good by itself, but we know that if you have two different varieties, not two of the same kind, two different kinds, each will have more. You know, just like, we'll get by on our own, but we do better if we got a little company.
All right, because it's a big blueberry. The blueberries that this person had, they were so big, they were about the size of a dime.
Huh.
So, almost. So, and it was sweet. So, I think I'm going to leave it alone by itself for a minute, let it grow up a little stronger. Then I'll probably go put something with it. Yeah. And how much light should I give it? Should I put it in the shade a little?
No. It likes a lot of sunshine, but get this, blueberries are a little different blueberries are a little bit different from other plants. Where they grow naturally is in what they call peat bogs. They don't like to grow in just plain old dirt or just sand or anything like that. So for a blueberry, I would dig. And by the way, I'm planting 4 blueberries for my daughter-in-law. In her yard, and she got clay dirt. So what I did, Brother Daniel, is I dug the holes about 2 feet wide, which half killed me because it's clay, and then I loosened it up another foot all the way around, and then I watered it to sort of get it soft. And this weekend I'm going to chop up the pieces. I'm going to add some real peat moss. The kind of potting soil that's got real peat moss, because that's what blueberries are like. So if you'll dig a nice wide hole, more than you think it deserves, okay, it'll reward you.
Right.
And a nice wide hole, and then add some peat moss, not too much, just like crackers in a bowl of chili, and stir it in really good. And when you pull the blueberry out of the pot, loosen its roots up a little bit so that they can get used to the new dirt.
Okay, I'll do that. I love y'all. And Mississippi, y'all keep hope alive.
Appreciate it. It's folks like you, Brother Daniel. Thank you so much. Okay. Hey, he's exuberant.
Oh, no, Brother Daniel, we love when he calls in. He often talks with Dr. Susan Buttress, and he calls her mother.
Mother. Well, I don't know what he calls me, but I'll go with it. Let's come up to Jackson, talk with Jason. Jason, what's up with your grass?
Hey, Felder, thank you. You had mentioned a few broadcasts ago about the appropriate time and the appropriate slow-release fertilizer for St. Augustine.
Right.
I know you had mentioned 2 mowings. I think we're, quote, out of the weeds now for a frost or anything.
Yeah.
Would now be a good time?
Yeah, it's a good time. Usually any time from April or May. Once it greens up in motor time or 2, April is fine. May is perfectly fine. But if you go to a garden center, they have different formulation. They have just general lawn food with a high nitrogen, but look for something called centipede food. And because centipede food, the first and third numbers are the same. Phosphorus and potash, nitrogen and potash are the same, which is what St. Augustine and centipede like. It's got 0 phosphorus, which is the middle number, which they don't need at all. So if you'll put, that on even every couple of years, then it will recycle through your grass clippings. So anyway, centipede food, and if you want to make the bag go a little bit further than it says it will, you can do that. It's not a big deal. But this does everything your grass needs. It's got the winterizer, it's got everything, and it lasts for a long time and recycles in your clippings.
Excellent. I sure appreciate it.
All righty, man. Get to it.
All right. I'll find some today.
Java, I've got a couple of things I want to share about an exhibit that's downtown at the Mississippi Museum of Art. We'll talk about that when we get back. But next week I'm going to be broadcasting from a special garden in Southern California of a guy who, until recently, his late greatest tortoise, he had a Galapagos tortoise that was half a century old. He finally passed away. But I'm going to be broadcasting from a peculiar but wonderful celebrated cactus and succulent garden in Southern California. So, anyway, got a good quote from Eudora Welty. I'll share that when we come back. We got live calls. So anybody want to give us a call, it's toll-free 1-877-MPB-RING. And me and John and all the folks at MPB, we're sitting here waiting on you to see how we can help you spread the word about gardening. So stick with us, folks. We'll be right back.
At the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience in Meridian, we believe in the power of the arts, storytelling, and education, just like Mississippi Public Broadcasting. MPB connects communities across the state with quality programs that inform, inspire, and engage. Their audience is loyal and appreciative of businesses that support public broadcasting, which makes underwriting on MPB a smart investment. Join us in supporting MPB. Learn more at mpbfoundation.org.
Hatred destroys the one who hates. The others that you hated, go on about their business. Care of us.
So the legacy of Medgar Evers is an understanding of our own humanity and of our own responsibility of seeing that in other people.
He is written out of history. He's just not included as Malcolm and Martin. To me, it's the 3 M's, and Medgar's right up there at the lead.
Everlasting, Life and Legacy of Medgar Evers. Watch now on MPB Passport. Visit mpbonline.org for more.
School choice, rural hospitals, voter access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Okay, Java, we got a new one now. We got a new one. Last hour was almost all about weeds, but I've seen weeds come through concrete. Weeds come through plain dirt, through weed barrier, through mulch. But you said we got a question about weeds that came through the email.
Yeah, we got a question about weeds that came through and they sent a picture.
That went right over your head, didn't it? Weeds coming through the email.
Coming through the email, but boom. I don't know if Abram in the back, I put a new picture in there, weeds. And
this is a sweet little plant.
Well, the question was from Mary: is there any way to get rid of this weed that seems to be taking over my yard?
Yeah. Well, first of all, this weed, a weed is any plant having to deal with an unhappy human, okay? And if you're not happy with it, it's a weed. But this plant in particular was what we used to use as our lawns before St. Augustine. St. Augustine wasn't even around, back in the 1800s, So we basically had mow-it grows type yard. And this is a little plant. It's got several names. Some people call it gill over the ground because the leaves look like little fish gills. But it's also called, what's the other folk name for that? Anyway, it's a ground cover that is in the mint family. It smells sort of spicy when you mow it. It only grows about 2 inches tall. It's an incredible ground cover. It grows where grass won't grow, particularly in the shade. So if you've got grass and you got shade, or if you got shade, this is your lawn. And I'm just drawing a total blank on it. It's got I've known this plant all my life. So my great-grandmother had. She called it estate grass because all the old estates had it in their lawn.
Yeah.
Not dollarweed. It's not. Somebody got to help me out on this. I'm just drawing a
come on, chat.
Okay.
Help us out, chat.
Yeah, gill over the ground. Anyway, to answer your question, what will kill any broadleaf weed, dandelions, clover, things like that, will kill this. But from looking at this, she got so much of it that I'm afraid if she kills it, she got nothing left.
So it's nothing under it.
Yeah. So if you have problems with these kind of weeds in the lawn, the number one weed control job, this is pure Mississippi State University Turf Management 101, the number one way to get rid of weeds is start by mowing high. Because if you don't mow high, your grass is going to get thin, the weeds are going to take over. And if you kill the weeds and there's no grass there, guess what's going to come back? More weeds. But this particular plant, I cannot believe I can't. Oh, creeping Charlie, creeping Jenny. No, it's not that. Gill over the ground. I'm just total blank of senior moment. I've had this plant all my life. What I would recommend would be go with it. It's a really good lawn turf. It's a good lawn. It's just not a grassy lawn, and it grows well. It stays low. It shades out other weeds. It smells good. You can eat it if you want to.
To Mary, it's a weed, but I guess if you were to put it out, it actually could be a good ground cover.
It is it's an outstanding. Not only that, but it grows beautifully in the shade where grass won't go. Gill over the ground. I'm having to look this up online. I love this modern technology here.
Yeah, it's gonna rattle your brain until you figure it out.
Here we go. Creeping Charlie.
The Creeping Charlie.
Or Glaucoma heteracea, which means it's got ivy leaves. Gill over the ground. It's not Creeping Charlie. It's called Creeping Charlie, but it's just a really good ground cover for the shade. It grows, and if you would just stop thinking the only lawn you can have is St. Augustine or Centipede or Bermuda, which is a construct put out there by people to sell lawnmowers and fertilizer and weed killers. It's a good plant. Anyway, if you want to get rid of it, what will kill dandelions and clover will kill this. But keep in mind, it's just going to come right back if you don't have grass in its place. Creeping Charlie. That's what Tom from Hattiesburg said. Creeping Charlie, you there?
No, not yet. We almost got Tom together.
Creeping Charlie. And, it's not dollarweed. It looks like that. And it's not dichondra, but dollarweed, dichondra is another one that is used commonly as a lawn substitute in places where grass won't grow. Tom, you with us?
Yes.
So you call it
Hey, Felder.
Howdy. You grow this,
yeah, that looks like that. Well, I've had some, and I was really worried about the stuff at one time until I found out it was in the mint family. But it's Creeping Charlie, I believe, is what they call it.
That's the fault. And why I couldn't remember it. I've grown all my life. And it smells good when you mow it. It's sort of minty smell. It's kind of a spicy smell. And if you look down close, it's got pairs of tiny little orchid-like flowers, little salvia-looking flowers. Anyway, appreciate that, man.
Yeah, all right. Okay. Yeah, on my fig tree also, I have a Ford truck. I ran it over with my Ford truck, and it grew back. So anyway, I appreciate you.
You bet. Thank for your call. Java, let me show a couple of pictures here. There's something that's going on downtown Jackson. If you're anywhere near Jackson, it's definitely worth going to. The Mississippi Museum of Art, which is downtown. Incredible. They have two gardens. They have an Old South garden with the grass and the shrubs and the trees and the flowers, statues and all like that, including the statue of Leroy Percy from Greenville. It's a terrific little garden. It's free. It's open. But if you go in the museum, most of it is free. But they have a special exhibit from L.V. Hull. L.V. Hull, I've known her forever. She passed away now. But she had a garden in Kosciuszko, and they're turning it into a museum with a little visitor thing and all that. Anyway, she was a folk artist. She painted everything, inside her house, outside. She had bottles with Mardi Gras beads, folk sayings. She even painted old shoes and put them on sticks in her yard. Anyway, I have a couple of pictures of this, and it's downtown. Let me see, where picture number 10, if we could put that. Yeah, here's some of the bottles. She would glue all sorts of beads and buttons and stuff on and I've got a couple of them that I got from her over the years. But picture number 11 is a painting. She did a lot of interesting paintings with stuff that she said. This one said, I started with nothing and I still have most of it. Take time to appreciate. Do not try to understand me. Just love me. Mind your business.
That's like wise words.
Yeah. Well, picture number 12 is a picture of L.V. Hull in her garden. That's a little shocking to some people. She accessorized everything. But Java, and she's a wonderful woman. She would sing to you. Me and Dr. Dirt visitors took Steve Bender there from Southern Living, and he featured her in Southern Living. But if you take away all the stuff in her garden, she had plants. I've documented all. She had stuff blooming every week of the year. It's just hidden with all that stuff. But I wanted to show picture number 14. And by the way, while they're doing that, here's a quote from L.V. Hull. You take a piece of wood, and all you have to do is spray it and put what you want on it. That's better than holding your hands or laying down taking naps every hour. The reason I want to show this is the bottle tree that she did. It's only about, 1.5 feet tall. And I want to say it's at the Museum of Art. That was supposed to be mine. I commissioned her.
That was supposed to be your bottle
I commissioned
tree?
her to paint little bottles, to make a little bottle tree. I commissioned her for it. That stand I got for her. Okay? She painted it. She did everything. But she passed away before I could have it.
No.
I was going to pay, I commissioned her for it. Anyway, it ended up but I just like, that's my bottle tree. LV Hull did it for me, and I don't want it back, but there it is.
Now it's on display for the entire world.
It is. And she's a wonderful woman. At the museum, they have an exhibit of all sorts of stuff people have written about, and they have a copy of me and Steve Bender's book called Pass Along Plants. First book we ever did is national bestseller, but the very first picture in Pass Along Plants is LV in her garden. Anyway, I just want to say, it quotes me in this exhibit as saying, and it's true, LV Hull's art makes me feel like I am okay.
I can see how you get that.
I do. By the way, I also saw another museum, a quote from Eudora Welty there, and I love this. This is because, I live part of the year here in Mississippi, born and raised. My people have been here since the 1700s, but I live in England part of no matter where I go. Here's a quote from Eudora Welty. There may come to be new places in our lives that are second spiritual homes, closer to us some ways than our original homes. But the home tie is the blood tie. And had it meant nothing to us, the home tie, any other place thereafter would have meant less, and we could carry no compass inside us ourselves to find home. We always got home. You're born and raised here in Mississippi.
Jackson, Mississippi, born and raised.
We go anywhere all over the world, but as soon as you hear that, you hear somebody say, "Yeah, I know these folks. They're people."
It's funny. That is like an indescribable feeling.
It is. So anyway, we've got some lines open. If anybody wants to give us a call, it's toll-free 1-877-MPB-RING. Got the lines wide open. Let's get busy. Folks, let us know what's on your mind. What's bothering you? What do you hope for? What do you like? What are you having trouble with? What would you like to try? What did you hear that just doesn't sound right? Give us a call. Toll-free 1-877-MPB-RING. And I've got a for folks who are watching on live stream, this is a tune from Keb Mo called Keeping It Real Simple. I love it, folks. Me and Java and all the folks at MPB, we thank you for joining us. We're going to be right back with hopefully your phone calls. Otherwise, I'm going to have to show more pictures and tell some bad pirate jokes. But we'll be right back with the Gestalt Gardener here on MPB right after this.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
Together through the years, together in the future. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Mississippi is a place of deep roots where every story matters and every voice can be heard. At MPB, we stand with our local communities, bringing you the voices of those who shape our state through local programming that reflects our culture across small towns to big cities, from the Delta to the coast. We tell the stories that define us, from the music that carries our voices to the leaders who inspire change. MPB brings you the heart of Mississippi, celebrating Mississippi one story at a time. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Folks, welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing, and we're talking about gardening. If you got some things to talk about, it's toll-free 1-877-MPB-RING. Let's start out by going to, I think, Jim in Alabama. Jim, what's going on, man?
Yes, sir.
Howdy. What's going on?
Hey, good morning, one and all.
Thank you. What can we help you with?
I have some property that sits directly on Mobile Bay.
Uh-huh.
And the ground is real sandy.
Oh, boy.
And I'm looking for, honestly, probably some sort of grass cover for it. But I'd be open to alternatives to, regular grass.
Oh, boy. And actually, I've written about this. I wrote a book called Tough Plants for Florida Gardens. And it includes all the way up into the Panhandle, and of course that means Gulf, all the way across the Gulf. And there's a native grass. I'm drawing a total blank. I'm having an old guy moment this morning. I can't remember the name of it. But if are you in Mobile?
Code in Alabama.
Yeah.
So it's farther south than,
Okay.
on the bay.
I'm gonna do something that is inherently Felder-esque. I'm gonna say I know, but I can't remember, and you're either gonna have to stay tuned or somebody's gonna call up and help us. But I wrote about this in a whole book, but because it's such a narrow strip, we're talking about within 5 miles of the coast. Well, it'll take the salt spray, which can blow miles inland. That can be mowed. And, and I've been all up and down from Pensacola all the way over, all the I just can't remember. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of okay with it because it is what it is. But and I don't mind seeing. I'm not ignorant. I'm just stupid here. I'm in a stupor, so can't help. I do know that there are some. And while we're for the rest of the program, I'm gonna look for a couple of websites, but I'm drawing a blank. Just drawing a blank.
Yeah.
Now, my friend, our friend Gary Bachman, who was the state consumer horticulturist of Mississippi, he lives in Ocean Springs, and he would name it off the top of his head. But anyway, if anybody's listening from along the Gulf Coast, what can you grow that you can mow besides grass? I know St. Augustine and centipede would take salt spray.
I've had best luck with the centipede.
Yeah.
Grass. And I got a neighbor down the way. I think he's got Bermuda grass out.
Yeah, but
I just don't like the way it looks.
No, and Bermuda grass gets a lot of weeds in it. Yeah, you can spray Bermuda grass easier than you can spray anything else, but it's going to always be weedy. Centipede, if you mow it at a pretty high setting and fertilize it, it's important to fertilize it in that sandy soil with centipede food. Mm-hmm. It's a slow-acting, long-lasting, gentle, steady feeding. That's because otherwise nutrients just run right through that sandy soil. So you have to use a good quality, slow-acting, slow-release lawn food and mow on the high side. But I'm just drawing a blank on this other stuff. I'm gonna look. I'm not giving up. I just don't know.
Okay. Well, dedicated listener, I will listen to the rest of the program, and hopefully somebody will call in.
Well, I tell you what, Jim. If they don't, you can either email us, garden@mpbonline.org, or else tune in next week, and I will show how much humble pie I can eat.
All right. Well, you guys have a fabulous weekend.
Thank you.
You guys do a great job.
We appreciate it.
Thank you for that, Jim, and thank you for your understanding. As Felder says, he can't get it right now.
Sometimes I got it. Bam, right off the top of my head. And this is one of those things I know, but it's so rarely asked.
There you go.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
But maybe Lonnie will help us out. Lonnie's calling from Myrtle. Good morning, Lonnie. How are you?
I'm good. I tell you what, I've got I've had a brother pass away, and I'm bad to plant a tree or something for him. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm bad to plant a tree for him. And what I did, I went and bought a little apple tree that said it was apple. And I noticed the other day as I planted a small apple tree, and it looked like it's putting out little apples.
Yeah.
But my nephew always tell me, he said, I got a pear tree, the goats ate down on it, and it puts out little pears.
Yeah.
So he called them crab apples.
So then now I got this apple tree, and it's putting out a couple of little apples. Is that crab apples or is that really apples? That's where apples supposed to.
Okay. First of all, I ain't gonna argue. If he wants to call them crab apples, he can call them. But a pear, wild pears do have small pears. They can sometimes get as big as the end of your thumb, but they're small. They're not the big cultivated ones we have. So if it's grown on a pear tree, even as little as a pear. Now, a crab apple and an apple are the same plant, but crab apples have really, really small apples. There's not even a different Latin name for them. Crab apples are a type of apple, just like there's different kind of tomatoes. And peppers are related, but peppers and apples and pears are related. But a crab apple is simply a variety of apple with small apples. That's all it is. And some are pretty good big, not as big as a golf ball, but crab apples are a small fruited apple tree. So if it's little, you can call it a crab apple.
So now, if this is a young plant, young tree.
Yep.
And it started being little bitty. I looked at it the other day and I saw 2 little bitty apples on it. And that's what I was concerned about. I said, did I buy, if it's a crab apple, it would say crab apples, right?
Yeah.
It won't.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So this will produce larger apples.
No, if it has small apples now, they're always going to be small. The plant gets bigger, the fruit don't get bigger.
Okay, that's what I want to know. It's not a crab apple. There's no such animal as a plant as a crab apple by itself.
Yeah, well, you could buy a crab apple, but it's a type of apple with little apples. That's all it is. And there's different varieties. One of my favorites is called Callaway. There's one in a churchyard near me. It's a beautiful little small tree, got great flowers, good fall color. It's got little apples that you can pretty much put your, if you do your thumb and forefinger together, it'll just about fit. Good size, but it's a crab apple. And guess what? Nobody knows that it's there but me. So every year I get them all. The church people don't know what they got out in the yard, so I go by there. That's where I get my crab apples. But it's called Callaway. It's an exceptionally large crab apple, but it's still a tiny little apple.
Okay. I was just hoping that it was going to be a regular apple tree when I bought it. I didn't pay attention to it. That was going to be a crab apple. But as I saw it producing, I said, maybe it is a crab apple.
Now, there's a chance that the one you bought was grafted, and the grafted part died, and the rootstock came out, and it was a crab apple. But anyway, crab apple, just a little apple.
Okay. All right. Hey, thank you very much.
Okay. They're good to eat, by the way, but they're just a lot of trouble.
Okay. But will it grow large as a regular apple tree?
I don't know. There's so many varieties out there. I don't know.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Good luck, Lonnie.
Thank you very much.
All righty. I don't know how many times in one day I can say I don't know. I don't know how many times I can say it, but I'm ready. It's here. Anyway, let's. I don't know what to say. Lonnie, you still there? You gone?
I'm here. I'm here for a minute.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can. Anyway, appreciate your call, man.
No problem. Thank you.
All righty. Well, while we're calling up the next caller, I went online. I found all sorts of things. I went to the Florida Extension Service because, they got a lot of coastline there and native plant lawn alternatives for lawns. And most of them you really don't want because they're going to be too big for a lawn. You want a lawn, you want something that can stay low or grows really well. So I still don't have an answer is what I'm saying. Still don't have a good answer. A lot of stuff here, but I can't sort it out with my bifocals. Anyway, let's go to Covington, Louisiana. David, I've been ignorant all day. Help me out here.
Well, hello, Java and Felder. I got a question that some people might consider this a weed, but I'm trying to cultivate it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not trying to kill it like your first hour callers were. And that's wild blackberries.
Yeah.
I've been having bad luck, though. They get about an 1/8 inch to a 1/4 inch, and then they just kind of fizzle out, and they're kind of bitter. And I'm asking whether I'd do better to get a cultivar, like Arapaho or one of those?
Well, they're just completely different. The two main plants that are commonly called blackberries. One has sort of upright arching canes. One's kind of floppy. It sprawls, not quite a vine, but it sprawls. As we call them dewberries. And so you got a blackberry or little dewberry. A lot of times they're sprawly and they got lots of little thorns. What kind you got?
I think they're the blackberries.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they're bigger.
Literally hundreds and hundreds of berries on there. They're little tiny red things, and they just never seem to develop.
Yeah, if they're not developing, usually, these are in the same family, believe it or not, as apples and pears, and they have to be pollinated. And it might be that you don't have good pollination going on, and they'll reach a certain size and they'll abort. That's just what happens. We see that with all sorts of fruits that don't get good pollination. Also, if these things grow with no fertilizer at all. If you're fertilizing it a lot or you're never fertilizing, that's going to affect their growth. But here's what I know about the blackberries and dewberries. They produce this year on what grew last year. See, so what most growers do is when they get through picking them, they cut them back, let them put out all new growth the rest of the year, late summer and fall, and leave them alone. And those will bloom the next year, have good berries. So if you never cut them back, it might be they're just so thick they're overwhelming the roots. So this year, after you get through, if you get any at all, cut them back. You can cut them back to 6 inches tall or whatever, and or a foot tall if you want to, 1.5 feet tall. But they'll put out all new growth that'll have better berries next year. So it might be something as simple as that, but it's going to be an environmental or pollination issue, one or the other.
All right. Well, thank you. I'm going to try that.
Okay.
See what happens.
If you want to go with some of these others, you mentioned Arapaho. These that have they're named after Native American tribes. They're developed in Arkansas. They are really, really heavily fruitful. They got big berries. They're ornamental. They're pretty plants. If you want to go with some of those, put some of those out there in a different place, and then see what you get from both of them. But the cultivated varieties, same thing. There's one at the Agriculture Museum at the Herb Garden. Every year, as soon as it gets through picking, we cut it back, and it puts out all new growth. And I actually tip prune the new growth by August or so it in turn bushes out. So I have a bushier plant with more berries, but no pruning past middle part of August or so.
All right. Well, thank you.
All righty.
I'll give it a try.
Give it a try. That's about all we can do there.
Appreciate you, David.
Yeah, we
out
do.
there in Covington.
I got some other pictures on the show, but we got any live stream stuff?
Yeah, we actually do. We have a comment. We got a couple of questions too. All right, here we go. Felicia, she's checking in, and she says, "How do you learn the correct way to prune tomatoes / squash / cucumbers?"
Oh boy!
Question mark. Question mark.
Yeah. First of all, you don't have to prune any of them. You don't have to prune them at all. You just don't have to. Cucumbers and squash, I never heard of pruning those.
Oh, okay.
I just don't know. I don't understand why you would. But the tomatoes, they send out a bunch of little side shoots. Okay, they're called suckers, and when they first start growing, if you'll pop out all but 2 or 3 of the suckers that have 2 or 3 main stems, that's called pruning tomatoes. You'll have fewer tomatoes, but they'll be bigger. If you don't prune it all, you'll have more smaller tomatoes. So mainly on all those, you just if this part of this just too thick, just snip out what you need to. Just open up for good air circulation so bees can get in there for your squash and maybe your cucumbers. But the tomatoes, if you just pop off some of those little suckers here and there, the energy that would have gone to them will go to what's left. So, but if you go online and ask about it, you're going to get every possibility, every kind of answer. Bottom line is, thin out some of the circles on tomatoes, and that works if you want to. The rest of them, I just don't know. Never heard of it.
Okay, well, now we have an email from Tucker, and I know we've been talking about dead plants and killing plants and stuff like that, but well, this question is...
I'm glad I wore a black T-shirt today because I'm in mourning here.
Tucker says, "Is my plum tree plum dead?" Once I recently planted plum 2 years, plum tree, maybe 6 feet. It looks dead, but when I scrape the bark, I see green. Yeah. And now at about about 2 feet, one leaf bud has sprouted. Yeah. I've heard you say before when one gets a fruit tree, chop it off knee high.
Oh wait, yeah, knee high, thigh high, waist high, whatever.
He said I did not do that. I was afraid, but wonder if that's what I might try now.
Yeah, good thing. There's no commercial fruit grower on earth that would fail to cut their trees back to knee high, thigh high, waist high at the most. It makes them branch out. It balances the top with the roots. You know, they'll struggle. They got all the top growth and they got weak roots because they're transplanted. So this does a whole lot of benefits, but it also makes them branch out. So if it's bright green under the bark and just sitting there, if you'll cut it back to an area that's bright green under the bark, it will quickly sprout out with strong, healthy new growth that's better balanced with the roots. That's important.
So you don't think his plum tree is plum dead?
If you scratch the bark, it's bright green under there. It's saying, "Help me, help me."
Now another question from Rita on the chat says, "I have a ginkgo tree. Mm-hmm. I haven't fertilized it in several years. What kind of fertilizer do you recommend?"
Well, if you got grass anywhere nearby, just fertilize the grass, and that's more than enough for the trees, too. And you ought to fertilize your grass. A lot of people never do. I get it. I understand. A lot of people say you got to fertilize. No. If you'll give it a little fertilizer every 2 or 3 or 4 years, that's plenty, and it'll fertilize your trees, too. The unasked question, make sure that the trunk is protected. All it takes is one hit with a weed eater or the lawnmower to completely girdle and kill a tree. But it just scatter some fertilizer way out from, stick your fingers out, stick your arms out, wiggle your fingers, and that'll tell you an idea where roots are. And that's where you need to throw some fertilizer. But just fertilize the grass.
And last one, we got Margie says, "Hey, Felder, I think when you came to Forest back in the late 80s, I was there, and I've always enjoyed your slides of plants. My favorite one was the pawpaw."
The pawpaw, yep. And by the way, if you're picking up pawpaws, don't put them in your pocket. They get nasty.
Okay. Let's see what's going on.
I was raised with pawpaws, native plant. By the way, I've got a picture I want to show. Speaking of weed eating, picture number 22. I saw this this past weekend in Jackson where somebody apparently had trouble with lawnmowers. They had a hand-painted sign. It's a piece of wood, painted yellow on a stick, and says, "Please do not mow or weed eat beyond this line."
It's serious, because if you get some folks, to maintain your yard, and if you don't kind of give them instructions, they're just gonna make it flat.
Oh yeah, I do know. I mentioned last week that I planted 4 Yopon hollies, tree form. They cost me $50. I got a good wholesale deal, $50 a piece for big trees. Put them out in my daughter-in-law's yard, dug a nice hole myself, mulched them, fertilized them, watered them, everything. And 3 years later, a lawn company came by and hit them all with a weed eater, and they're dead as a doorknob. And it's not just a $200 I'm out, or the time and effort of digging the holes and watering, but it's the 3 years I've lost and the hope that I've lost.
That's right. Those are going to be some good trees.
Yep. So anyway, we've got Mikey on the line. Mikey, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good, and I'm glad y'all are doing good. I want to say, and I'm not trying to be corrective, I'm just saying that my grandfather, the great fisherman, among other things, he made the fishing nets. He pronounced it Codin, not Codin. Kind of like Goshen, Mississippi, or Godier.
Okay, wait. Which town are we talking about?
Say again?
What are we talking about?
It was something about the codium?
Pronouncing, he was saying Codin, and it's Codin around this part of the neighborhood.
Okay.
Neighborhoods. Like I said, like Goshen, Mississippi, or Godier.
Yeah. Or New Orleans.
I want to report. I want to report that I had a very unintended and appreciable harvest of the dewberries. Where I had an oak tree taken down October before last, and I listened to your advice, some of it. And, I mean, of course, you know, come on, we all do what we want to do. And this year I have this wonderful patch that did double duty as far as keeping some intruders out of my yard, and also presented me, let's just say I preserved them with the right grain of spirits in bottles.
Okay.
And it's worth it. I'm hoping to expand it next year, so I'm gonna re-listen to your advice on dewberries tomorrow morning when it rebroadcasts here in Mobile.
All right. We appreciate it, Mikey. Thank you. And I think she's talking about preserving some blackberries. You know, I can't bring fruit back from England, but I can bring, there's a type of wild plum called sloe, S-L-O-E, sloe plum. It's a little small that blooms in the fall. And you take them and you take the thorns from the plum tree and you poke holes in them and you put them in a bottle and you fill the bottle up with gin, drinking gin.
Oh, yeah, I'm here now.
And just a little bit of sugar, not much sugar, just a little bit. And the sugar and the gin pulls the color and the flavor of the sloe plums into the gin. It makes it taste almost like almonds. So you heard of sloe gin.
Okay.
It's made from sloe plums.
That's all right, yeah.
And I brought blackberries and blueberries back in vodka bottles. Just saying. You can get those through customs. Well, anyway, it's been kind of a weird program today.
I had to look up the sloe gin, and it has a nice,
it's got a nice little color
nice
to
red,
it.
yeah, nice reddish kind of color.
Yep,
yeah,
it gets it and that little bit of almond flavor from the little plums called sloe. A lot of people old-fashioned folks call wild blackberries, the black ones, they call them sloes because Europeans call them sloe because they look like the sloe plum. Stupid stuff here. You know, and if we're not talking about weed killers, I can talk about stupid stuff. By the way, let me show a picture real quick. Picture number 15. This is the Agriculture Museum in Jackson. My elephant garlic is blooming. Elephant garlic, it grows like garlic, it looks like garlic, it tastes like garlic, but it makes flowers almost the size of a baseball. Really good cut flower. They're edible. You can eat the flowers, but they're in full bloom right now. A lot of people call them wild garlic because you see them around old home sites.
No, those are humongous.
Oh yeah, well, and so when you dig them up, the you know how regular garlic, the bulbs with all the different cloves. Well, these are huge. They fit in the size of your hand.
Man.
And it's real mild, so it's a good one. And then the last picture I want to show is picture number 23. Now this is a big old turtle.
There's nothing else to say. It's a big old turtle.
That's Sam the tortoise, Galapagos tortoise. Over half a century ago when it passed away, it was owned by a friend of mine who had the San Diego Botanic Garden. He had it since he was a teenager.
Yeah.
And when he grew up, he had to give it away. He lived in Indiana, gave it to somebody in California. 40 years later, he came back across Sam. The lady who had gotten it still had Sam and wrote a whole book called Too Big to Lose. Anyway, that's Sam the Galapagos tortoise. They get big. You feed them with tong. You take a tong and you stick stuff close so it can grab it because it'll snap your finger off. That's a big old turtle.
It is.
Tortoise.
That's a big. That's the only thing you can say. It's a big old tortoise.
Well, I'm gonna be broadcasting from the incredible cactus and succulent garden of the owner of the former late great Sam the tortoise.
The only thing I'm going to say is when you get there, let's find a nice place to sit up because we're not moving the camera around.
Oh, no. Wait. I live and learn, huh? Live and learn. No, I can sit down with this beautiful garden in the background. But, Java, I'm going to visit some botanic gardens, including one they only let 10 people a day in.
Whoa.
You have to get reservations well ahead of time.
Okay.
And but I'm
exclusive.
Yeah, it is. It was a private garden. It's in the same town that Prince Harry lives in. You know, they don't just let yahoos drive up in their pickup trucks.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm not going out there to celebrate what grows in San Diego. I'm going out there to see what in L.A., Santa Barbara, things that we can do in Mississippi. Looking for ideas of how to display stuff in ways that look better than just sticking it out in the yard. It's about combining shapes and textures. I'm horticulturist Felder Rushing, me and Java Chapman and John C. and Abram and Marissa, all the other folks here at MPB. We appreciate you joining us. If you want to share along with other folks that we're live 24/7, not live but on podcast, I'd appreciate that. But meanwhile, if you get a chance this week, it's going to be beautiful. I got stuff to plant. I got stuff to prune. I got stuff to just take care of, and some just stuff to walk around and look at and admire and see what's living on, like big old lizards and stuff. If you get a chance, take a kid to a garden center, get a big old pot, fill it with some potting soil, get them to plant some culinary herbs, and let them grow up thinking that they can grow their own food. And more important, teach them it's perfectly okay to do what we do, and that's get dirty.